Therefore, I figure out in life, I will never tell anybody what I do for a living. I will never tell anybody if I go to college or not. I will never tell anybody if I graduate or not.
This is kind of tiring. Describe, let's talk about it.
If I first meet you, the first thing that you ask me is, what do I do for a living, or what did I go to school for? I'm automatically shutting down the conversation and I'm never speaking to you again. That is you sizing me up to see what ranking you could put me at, to see where you can use me for, what you cannot use me for, what you put me on a pedestal for, what you cannot put me on a pedestal for. Therefore, I figure out in life, I will never tell anybody what I do for a living. I will never tell anybody if I go to college or not. I will never tell anybody if I graduate or not, because you're not going to sit there and be in my face and try to be my friend or associate or anything based of what I have or what I've done with my life. If you can't accept me for who I am, this space right here, a regular conversation, then we don't need to be speaking.
If you broke, just say that. If you didn't go to college, just say that. What are we supposed to do with this? Realistically, what are we supposed to do with this? People ask these things because they take up the majority of your time, the majority of your life, especially as young as you are. Yeah, where'd you go to college? You spent 4 years somewhere studying something that you decided you were interested in. This reveals more about you and where your interests lie, especially what college you went to. I'm not saying, okay, if you went to an Ivy League, okay, that maybe, okay, let me throw out loud of my toilet humor I was about to throw you away. Or maybe you like that. Where do you work? This is just so I know where I can relate to you with, not because I'm trying to take advantage of you and I just met you. I'm trying to keep the conversation going. Let me give you an example, right? Or just a look about how it goes for men when they're trying to come and talk to you and get to know you. It's a game of, it's not a game of inches like football. It's a game of seconds, the game of time. I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say to you so I can buy myself some time. That's the volley, right? You hit it back, right? We're playing tennis, but no one's trying to spike. No one's trying to ace. No one's trying to win. That's how a conversation is supposed to go. So I'm going to ask you something. And I'm going to wait for you to give me something back, right? And then I can then return that based on what you just said. Conversations get weird when I ask you a question and you reply and I immediately change topic, right? That's weird. So I'm going to ask you about what occupies most of your time, what occupies most of your life. Or do you want me to start with, even if I start with, so what are your hobbies? If you're so worried about what people are going to use to size you up, people can do the very same thing with hobbies, with almost anything that you say reveals something about you, your character, where you grew up, your socioeconomic level. There's always tells the way you dressed, where I met you, the way the style of hair you prefer, the length of your nails. There's so many keys, so many clues, but it's not that deep. I'm just trying to talk to you. I know all of these things can be indicators, but none of these things can actually be to sum up all of these things. No, I'm guessing there's stabs in the dark. They may help me lean towards right. They may find correlation somewhere, but because you see Shorty twerking on the stage, you don't know she may have a Harvard degree. We don't know. I've seen professional women act like this. Well, it's a time and a place for them. It's not the entirety of their character. So I'm just trying to get to know you. But when you make it insufferable like this, because things like this has happened in your past, this reveals something in itself. This whole conversation that she had reveals something in itself. You've got brain rot. Right? You've got brain rot. Before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. We're going live this Sunday at 7 Central Time. So be sure to be in there, be in the chat room, letting us know if it's your first time or if you always make the lives. I appreciate that. So we got merch in the store. Membership is open. So all right, housekeeping done. So this is what men often go out and experience. There's always a new stringent, there's always a new hoop that you have to jump through just in order to talk to you. Oh, don't do this because I'm going to cut you off. Cut you off. Because you think right now, because we have so many options, you don't value what's in front of you. You don't get a chance, when you're so quick to cut that person off, you don't have an opportunity to know that person, how that could have changed your life. When people get married, think about how it began. Off a conversation. Off a, hey, I'm such and such. That's how it starts. If you're so ready and willing, because right now it's in vogue, it's popular to reject men, to just say, no, you're not on my level, this, you find so many reasons to reject men. And all it does, like we've said so many times, it just takes men outside of the field and just say, all right, cool, do whatever you want. Oh, how come they don't approach? Look to how many hoops you have to jump through. And I get it. This is not all. This is probably more or less what we see on the internet. But how many women do you know in your life start taking trends that they saw online? They don't even know where they picked it up. Maybe they got it from another friend. All of a sudden, all y'all saying clock it, with the little hand motion. Where'd you see that? Where'd you get that? You never did that in your 34 years of life, but now you're doing it because you saw someone else do it. You saw another woman do it that you admired, and here you are. So these things matter where they come from, how they introduced into you. Same thing happens for men, right? We're all jumping on bandwagons one way or another. But when you don't push back against some of the stuff, you're kind of left with it being the default. So if men have to talk to you in certain ways, are you prepared for that type of conversation? What am I supposed to talk to you about? Immediately off the rip, because I don't know you. You want to get deep immediately? Can you answer some of these questions if that's what you're looking for? If he's going to go up to you and say, what's the last book you read? Which is a weird opener, right? Hey, I'm such and such. What's the last book you read? I don't really read books. Oh, okay. That's another indicator, like I mentioned earlier. Another indicator that may tell me, okay, this is kind of where you are. But if you can't answer these things, and this is what women would say, if you're broke, just say that. If you never went to college, just say that. When you put so much emphasis on things on one hand about your college degree, about the job that you have, is it not natural for us now to go and look and say, hey, could you tell me about that? Can we talk about that degree, the multiple degrees you have? Can we talk about the job that those degrees have led you to have? What it's like working in that field? Are you in a male-dominated field? What it's like for you to work there? To have these almost absolute sort of takes all the time really just makes men just say, all right, man, we're just tired. We're just tired. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. This is infuriating. This is exhausting. It's sort of another hoop to jump through. Now, we're just trying to get to know you. It's a normal thing, even from normal relationship when you meet people. Yes, does it occur that people size you up and try to give you a certain amount of respect because of the job you have? Absolutely. But you went to school, you're a doctor. You were in school for majority of your life. And, I'm probably going to respect that. That doesn't mean the next guy that became an entrepreneur who's making the same amount that a doctor makes isn't deserving that respect. That's more a function of their own person. If you're around people that simply size you up and say, what can I use you for? Because that's why I want to know your job, then increase the level of people around you. But that means by denying more people access to you. You just got to vet. You just have to vet. And you have to let go of the idea that everyone that meets you is trying to take advantage of you, especially when people are doing completely better than you. And there's always someone out there doing way better than you. And then you just want to say, hey, work is really important to me, so I'm asking you what you do for work. I'm very proud of what I do for work, so I'm curious, do you have that same experience? But you want to cut people off like that just because it's a cool thing to do. Best of luck to you, right? That's all we can say about some of these things. Best of luck to you. But listen, if you disagree, if you completely think, yo, don't talk to me like that, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to Sound My Voice Now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. Just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.